If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would.
I think we can sum up the entire debate right there, as Trump is hands down who American conservatives want to win the Republican presidential nomination. So the question really is, will you honor the wishes of the American people, or will you play by the BS game the Democrats have established? And anything other than this shows me that you don't work on behalf of the American people, you work on the behalf of the establishment. Because let's be clear, the Democrats are trying to do to America what they do to weak-willed liberal voters. They may favor a Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard, or even a RFK, but no, they already decided for them. It's Hillary or a President Damon Shah. And now that same sentiment is leaking to the GOP.
I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, so I can say this. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. And we have to declare independence for it.
Which is an awful lot like what happened to Trump in 2016.
Let me talk quiet.
How tough
a lot of times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public.
Because they really think that they can force another establishment politician down our throats. And I, like most Americans, have no idea who Vivek is, but am more than willing to roll the dice with another outsider with reasonable ideas over the same Republican or Democrat nonsense that desperately campaigns in favor of whatever they think will get your vote, but then acts in favor of whatever fills their pockets. Because Vivek's platform seems solid.
And this is our moment to revive those common ideals. God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to man. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4.
Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America. Nikki, I wish you well in your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon.
And I would love to provide commentary on more of Vivek's talking points or show you the final footage of rhinos flailing as they go extinct, but Ben Shapiro shared the guidelines Fox News put out there.
No media outlet can air more than a total of 3 minutes of excerpts from the debate in any one program, including video and audio. They're out of their minds. That's totally crazy. They're treating this like a football game or like a baseball game, which is nuts.
And the only reason I would personally become a regular viewer of Fox News is if they went fully transparent and did segments like this internet edit of their coverage.
Even though President Trump is kicking everyone's ass in the primary polls,
we're still trying to set him up with our bullshit Republican primary debate.
I mean, maybe he'll show up.
And we're just hoping everyone takes shots at him so we can help Ron DeSantis.
Because we're Fox News.
And we suck.
And we don't really give a shit
about our viewers' opinion.
We only care about getting a big fat paycheck.
And about not getting fired like Tucker Carlson.
And on the topic of BS narratives, look at the interesting way the dinosaur media is going after Vivek as he gains popularity in the polls.
This is really, it's funny. I mean, The Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is, on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field, and we deserve to know who they are. On 9/11, what I've said is that the government lied. And this is incontrovertible evidence, Caitlin. The government lied about Saudi Arabia's involvement. We know that because declassified reports in 2021 revealed that al-Bayoumi...
Are you telling me that the quote
20
is
years
wrong
later,
here?
yeah.
But are you telling me that your quote is wrong here because it says how many federal agents were on the plane
I actually asked
Twin Towers?
Yeah, when I actually, and this is just lifting the curtain on how media works again, I asked that reporter to send the recording because it was on the record. He refused to do it.
Where even The Hill is getting in on pushing this narrative, with Megyn Kelly not far behind. So no wonder people are losing trust in mainstream coverage.
Do you think television is declining?
Well, according to a poll that I guess we just saw, it just came out where it's down like 35%, but I think they were referring to cable. I think cable's down because it's lost credibility. MSNBC, or as they say, MSDNC, is so bad. It's so Wrong.
As CNN didn't think Trump's visit to Tucker on X was going to get any attention.
Just for the record, Donald Trump's counter-programming is horrible. I don't think anybody's going to be watching Tucker Carlson on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now.
But the laugh's on them, as in less than a day, they have over 200 million views, where CNN's 15 million subscriber YouTube channel, their front page and center show from months ago, pulls in Decoy voice numbers and viewership. And I want you to get a good look at all this, CNN. On the internet, we're peers. As Twitter's owner Elon Musk points out how important it is to hear things directly from the source versus through the media's filter. And the view count, if nothing else, shows us how much actual people, not low information voters, not vote blue no matter who NPCs, and not harvested ballots, actual people want to know what their potential leaders have to say, and are willing to watch a 40-minute interview on Twitter to listen to the person that may lead the country for the next 4 years, as opposed to the people that are willing to burn, loot, and maim their own community for over 10 days, but never actually sat down and watched the full 10-minute police body cam video of supposedly why they're rioting. And that's why I think it's so important to them that I can't show you more than 3 minutes of that Republican debate, because they need to ensure that you only see it through the lens of what they want you to see. And Trump and Tucker even called out the so-called 2020 presidential debate.
Probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time, but that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it. I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million? To Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the question.
Now, people forget that, but if you go back and take a look. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None. That is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr. President, it's an open discussion.
Did Burisma pay him $183,000 a month? With no experience in energy?
Mr. President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President.
The only guy that, matter of fact, even the people who testified.
Can I be honest? It's a very important question.
Try to be honest.
He stood up.
No, the answer to the question is no.
Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
that is absolutely not true.
But the most interesting part of Trump on Tucker was his characterization of Vice President Kamala Harris.
She seems pretty senile too.
She speaks in rhyme. It's weird. It's weird, but she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you?
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there, because that's what buses do.
And I could never quite put my finger on what Kamala Harris reminded me of, but watching the way they parade her around in this overdone display of who they want you to think she is, only then did I realize she's basically a mascot for diversity and inclusion. Because if Washington, D.C. was a sports franchise, they wouldn't represent the Patriots, the Warriors, or even the Trash Pandas. They would be the DC diversity hires. And let's be honest, Kamala does a pretty good job dancing on the sidelines, not actually helping the team win it all, just reminding everybody their team's identity. Because as Biden enjoys his post-Hawaii trip vacation, his party is out there arresting Donald Trump's lawyers. And everybody's currently waiting for Trump's mugshot to drop so they can go sell a t-shirt with it. Now this is just AI art right here, but I might actually sell one on decoyvoice.com after it does come out, because I would wear it as it's basically a Rorschach inkblot test for anybody that sees it in public, as people that despise Trump will cheer because it's their version of George Bush's mission accomplished moment, and people that love Trump will cheer because it's the exact moment where the gloves will finally come off if they put Trump behind bars, if even for a moment there's no going back. As if the Democrats lose after this, a second-term Trump administration is going full-out beast mode, and there's an awful lot of Americans out there that aren't political but would very much like to see the establishment get wrecked. So if you appreciate my independent, concise, but lighthearted commentary on what's really going on in the world, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on the pathetic visit our president made in Hawaii and how these politicians are starting to not be able to show their faces in public anymore.